All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. We are going to be talking with our guest who is by my computer just below me in just a couple minutes. Of course, I'm talking about Jackie Frick coming off a big win this past weekend at No Problem in Top Alcohol Dragster. And of course, my co-host to my right, well, actually, kind of my left, right, whatever, right down the middle. Of course, I'm talking about the man, Pete Sanka. How are you doing, Pete?
Doing great, Chris. How you doing?
I am doing all right. Feeling better?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool, cool. So we got a lot to talk about. Jackie is also the reigning region championship for NHRA in the Northeast Division. We'll talk about that off season, and of course 2025. Plus, we're going to dive into the big top alcohol race that's going to be going down this summer. I think it's in May, at Cecil County. So we're going to get into that. So Pete, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, my friend.
Jackie, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having
N-
me.
Nice to have you on the show again. So, a lot of things I want to ask you about. Your championship last year, your start to the season this year, your impressive gold that you have behind you that I'm very gold man envious
Oh,
of back
jeez.
there.
Okay, they're not all mine.
That's
And
okay.
I actually didn't realize you could see that until I just looked up.
Let me tell you something. I'm ready to put platforms on my shoulders so I can put mine right here while I'm talking. But I
It,
have to ask you one thing before we get into all the details.
yes.
What the hell does 284 miles an hour feel like?
Pretty fast. You know, it um that that run, so in testing we had went what did we go? We went a 15 at 282. And then had a little bit of, we were testing some things at the baby gators, we weren't claiming it, so we kind of stayed with our game plan, and then went back to what we had used in testing um for Gainesville for the Gator Nationals. And driving up there, Amy, John and myself were driving there, and I was like, okay, it's going to be a short field, um 12 cars. Number one qualifier gets the only bye. There's a bye into the final. We need to be number one qualifier. And you know, um it doesn't often happen that the plan comes together like that. But yeah, 513 at 284. And I mean, we were aggressive, but it still had some room in it, which was nice.
Now, was that a personal best ET for you also, or have you gone quicker?
In testing at Bradenton, I went 511.
Oh my God,
And it's
that's insane.
crazy. I mean, you can, I was telling Amy this last week, that you can tell when when it's on one of those runs.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like when I want to say you let go of the button, but you know what I mean. When
Yep.
you step on
Yeah,
the
when you
gas,
when you
could
crush the tree, you're like, oh, I got all of that.
right, right. But I mean, could you feel the difference between, say, a 20 at 275 and a low teen at 284?
Well, it's cool when it pulls all the way down the track, and if it keeps all the holes lit,
Yep.
and we've changed some things around, that it's running better mile an hour now. Um, you can feel that. We had an injector manifold combination about 4 or 5 years back, and
Hmm.
that thing wouldn't work to save its life in the first 2 seconds of the run.
Yep.
But at 2 seconds, it kicked you in the ass, and that thing went like 283 everywhere.
Did it
But
really?
yeah, it was just such an unpredictable thing that eventually we had to say, all right, we got to take this off the car, because
Right.
we tried everything to make it work. And you couldn't, the tuning of those cars is really in the first 2 seconds. And then, keeping the holes lit. But it just wasn't a repeatable process.
When you feel like you're on a pass, it's more the sensation for you from like half track to through the stripe. It's like, oh baby, this thing is still pulling. More so like, what is your 60-foot times change from a 20 to a 15?
Well, ideally, and this is pretty cool, but that run only had a 940 60 foot, which is really how you want to do it because, you know, all the tracks won't take a 910 60 foot. So ideally, and that's kind of what we focused on over the winter was how do we do this with a 940 60 foot?
That's pretty awesome. Now, some people are known, and yeah, please forgive my ignorance with the alcohol class, but as far as top fuel goes, some people are known as like they knock it out of the park in cool weather, but struggle in the heat, or vice versa, because they don't make the power, so they shine in the heat. Obviously, you guys won a championship last year, so you seem to have a pretty good handle on both. But do you have, I don't want to say a preference because obviously everyone wants to go fast, but is there anything that like, all right, this isn't really our strong suit coming into this type of weather?
Ironically enough, Gainesville is not our strong suit. Cold,
No
good
kidding.
weather. We oftentimes, probably that's our biggest weakness is on cold tracks we shake. And so I was pretty proud of that run just for that reason. At the baby gators, we had made a test run. Um, Cody was cool enough to let us a bunch of alcohol racers test, and the
Mhm.
NHRA staff stayed on Saturday night. And that test run that I made was faster than my 513 pass until it was a 75-degree track,
Yep.
and the track just it was a little iffy, and I may have even driven it out of the groove. I was having a hard time. It was dark and it was a little dewy. And on those runs, you better have it in the groove. And it it says that it just this track wouldn't hold it, but that helped us on that run for the first run of the Gators.
Pretty wild. And to think that this isn't your prime conditions where you guys shine, that's got to put the rest of the class on notice, I would think.
We did a lot of work over the winter, so I
Good.
hope that you know, John and I countless hours, studying things and different clutch things and fuel and okay, we've run good here with this and just a lot of losing the championship hurt last year. Uh, so it was, getting down to the last race and watching them hand Sean the trophy, well deserved trophy. He's earned it a lot of years he'd been second. Um, this is that was my basically third time being second. And I really felt like the last two races coming into it, we had a really good chance.
Yep.
And I take a lot of the blame for losing it because in Vegas, I do a lot of our fuel setup,
Yep.
and I overlooked something really stupid and lost first round because I put a hole out at like a second and a half,
Yep.
which we never do. And I overlooked something and that hurt. That was because normally, I mean, I'm very focused on this stuff. And um, if you ask my team, I can't find, what's the saying? I can't find my ass with both hands. But give me a race car graph and I can focus pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're not robots, Jack. It happens, right?
Yeah, but that I first round of Pomona, they asked me to stay for the TV cameras, and
Yep.
Tori stayed with me, and she was holding my hand, and um, I said, "Babe, don't kid yourself about what's going to happen here." And she's like, "That's so negative." I said, "They're about to crown Sean the champion, and he deserves it." And she like looked at me, and I said, "It's just motivation, just
That's right.
motivation for
Yeah.
we weren't good enough to be champions this year. So
But here we roll into 2025 and with a different mindset and a different attitude and ready to rock and roll.
yeah, definitely, putting the work in over the winter, and it felt good to, like I said, the every team out there works so hard. You can't run one of these cars. It's a different breed of people that really, I mean, don't like to sit still at the racetrack. You're filthy. It just, it's a different breed of people for sure. And I have a guy that a crew guy that flew into Gainesville. We don't currently have a truck driver. He has his own trucking company, and things got messed up at Gainesville. He drove the rig to New Orleans, which I was supposed to do. Thank God he did, because I'm so busy at work that I don't think I could have pulled it off. And then um, drove straight to Vegas. You really have to love this class to participate in it. And luckily, everybody on my team, they want to win as bad as I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know nothing about the inner workings of what you guys are doing, but just spectating at an event, not even spectating, racing your own program and just driving by in the golf cart and glancing over as to what's going on, you guys are not just sitting around drinking beer all day long. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're covered from head to toe and clutch dust and oil and rubber, and who's packing chutes and you're doing fuel, and it's definitely not for the casual worker that wants to get their hands a little dirty, because you
No,
can tell from a mile away there's a lot going on in there. That's for sure.
there is, and there's even more. The successful teams, they don't stop when their work's done.
Yep.
They'll find things that are, those cars shake so often. There's loose. It just. I know everybody says this, but I have the best group of people behind me that really care and really want to win. You know, and it's not me winning. That's one of the coolest parts about the alcohol team is without them, I'm zero. So, I get to drive, and some of them want to. My guy Evan last year was like, "No way, you're crazy," and he has a race car too. So it just, it just, it's cool to have a good group of people behind you.
Sheen. So let me ask you a question. Um, I know that as a spectator, listening to announcers and hearing people talk, the clutch is like the biggest ordeal on the race car.
It's everything.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to ask you. Is there anything? I mean, obviously you can't do any of it without every single piece in place, but is the clutch like the ultimate voodoo magic? Like it's all got to happen there, or it's not going to happen?
Clutch and having a good fuel curve is, um, like I said, I overlooked something in Vegas last year,
Mhm.
and it stuck the tire and was over fueled, and whatever cylinder went out said sayonara.
Mhm.
It's a balance, but yes, you know and we still have some stuff we haven't tried yet with the clutch, which you know is is pretty cool.
Clutch is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like you, in the beginning of the season, you're going through piles of clutches, you're picking out good ones, you're putting combinations together. Like I've heard some people complain about only the top teams get first pick at the really good clutches and other team gets hand-me-downs. I mean, is that still the case with what's going on with you guys?
Not really. No, not really. During COVID, they had a little bit of a, I would say a somewhat of a consistency problem where I didn't feel like our clutch discs were as aggressive as they needed to be. And if if that's not the case, but like for example, before we left for and our stretch is Florida, Belrose, Las Vegas. So I made 34. I make the clutch packs that go in the car, and I made 34 clutch packs um, before we left,
Hmm.
and I made really similar, um, a one run disc, a two, you know what I mean? And we're fortunate in the respect that we have so much inventory. And John he doesn't really ever look over my shoulders, but he goes, you're getting down there in the numbers, meaning the wear numbers. And I said, yeah, but I think we're good. Like it'll be okay. And he's not a real atta girl kind of person. He doesn't say anything if you screw up, but he doesn't often tell you good job. And in Gainesville, he goes, I'm proud of you, kid. Your clutch packs are, pretty perfect. And I was like, thanks. But yeah, the consistency of it, and it comes down to cutting it within a thousandths of tapering. It like everything has to be the same. And for a person who doesn't do the same thing twice in their life, that's it's a little funny.
I don't know if you're allowed to say, and if you're not, don't worry about it. But how many discs do you run? Five
Four,
or six? Oh,
four,
four. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Four
right.
discs. Yeah.
So the difference between you and Top Fuel, do you guys share any parts as far as that stuff is concerned?
Not really. Some teams do. Some teams do. And
Yeah.
like Tim Wilkerson's one of my customers, and he was going to give me some discs. I think it was the year before last, but we had different hubs. Um, we don't, but some teams do. Um,
In
it,
my opinion, that would make it even more impressive because it's not like you're taking already proven technology from your big brother and just adapting it to what you got. It sounds like you're just your own entity and you're doing your thing.
it is. We used to be a two-car team before John crashed, and we don't. Jared Dreher, who I consider a teammate, is he doesn't run as many races, but we'll share information with Jared, and he'll him with us. But we really we're def I mean, we're a single car team, and we pretty much do everything ourselves.
So So take us. Obviously, you touched on the low light of last year, but you did still win a championship, which is awesome. And I consider whenever your name is mentioned in a championship chase, it can't be a bad thing. So, touch us on some of the highlights in what you accomplished last year and what you're looking at for 2025.
Last year was a really good year with the exception of we had some electrical gremlins. And ironically enough, over the winter, I had asked Sean, who's a wiring genius,
Yep.
to come up and tidy up some of the wires. Like I said, because they shake so hard, and
Sure.
so he did. And then we got the car front halved. Um, and from that point forward, in um I think I've raced for John. I mean, really under John's umbrella since like 2012.
Hmm.
Joe Cantrell owned the car for a little while, and then but John was always tuning it, and it was always under John's eyes. But uh I have never not been able to start the car and make a run. That's a pretty impressive thing for an alcohol car until Vegas, the four wides last year. And we some sort of electrical gremlin, and it really reared its ugly head. at Cecil County. We went a 519, and then we had Cummings second round in McPhillips' car,
Mhm.
and it blew up so bad that I was like, was that just fire under? I mean, it just, and it leveled an engine, a brand new block, two heads. And it came from, it lost ignition and saw it again, and all that nitro just, it made a mess. So it was a really good year. You said touch on the, I am very critical of where we can improve, but
I was kind of hoping you'd gloss over that, but I knew you wouldn't.
no, it was a pretty good year for what we ran, other than when we had the electrical gremlins. So
There, once you find something concrete wrong electrically, I mean, I make a pass in my car and I have an electrical problem and it might shut off, or it might sound like it's hitting a rev limiter when it's not, or break up a little bit or something. When you guys have, and I don't mean to laugh, I'm laughing like
no,
out of fear, but when you guys have an electrical problem, it's $100,000 worth of damage.
and
And if you don't find, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've left the starting line thinking, all right, I got this fixed, and it's not. But I waste a run. I race, I waste $8 worth of fuel. The fear factor with you guys, with not knowing if you find something concrete. I mean, how did you find that problem that just emptied out your pocketbook?
I'm as honest as they come. We don't know what the issue was. We changed everything 7 times over, and
Really?
John never, you know, he doesn't waste money, but he never, his demeanor never changes.
Right.
Um and finally I'm to the point where I can say, okay, I think it's gone. Because I mean, so that started in April of last year. It reared its ugly head at Cecil County. It gave us a little bit of a reprieve. It came back at Indy. Um, I mean, it was like I was leaving the starting line and like 3 holes would go out. We almost didn't qualify for Indy. Then changed a bunch of components. End up with Sean Cowie first round, which that could have been a big game changer. We run second low ET of first round next to his first, but we shouldn't have been lined up next to him because qualifying is, qualifying is everything.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer. I don't know if John would say something else, but I don't have a definitive answer on what that
Is
was,
this
other than we changed everything 6 times.
Was this something that you could see like on a data log where you could see it just lose it and come back?
The Because I think we had multiple problems.
Right.
Um, the Cecil County one, yes, you could see it lose power,
Yep.
and then like I said, with all that nitro and it started back up. Yes, you could see that one. Not sure of the reason, but what are you going to do? But most teams, sadly enough, most teams that would have leveled their season.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I
That,
mean,
but John doesn't know how to say quit, and thankfully is a workaholic, so
good
um,
Lord.
it didn't ruin ours.
Now, you got rid of all that bad juju from last year. And again, that we're still talking about an extremely successful season. It's but all right, you got that out of the way. So tell us about 2025.
Well, I mean, I hope I'm a really lucky person in life, and I haven't had like a ton of luck in this class,
Yep.
but Gainesville, I'm thinking I must have used it all up because we qualified number one, and then Dan Dietrich had went home. He had Angel first round.
Mhm.
Angel failed fuel check. So if we
Yes.
win first round, we have a bye, and I know we have a bye into the final.
Yep.
So I'm like, so of course I turn into a mental midget, and uh, John changed lanes. Amy's driving the tow vehicle, and I'm like, could somebody tell me what lane to go in? Because nobody said what lane we were going in. And Amy said to me later, did you all of a sudden forget how to follow the tow vehicle? And I was like, yeah. My nerves got, and I'm not usually nervous in the race car, but I was like, could somebody, I mean, just, ask a dumb question, you know. And I actually yelled to one of my guys because I started out saying, excuse me, anyone, and nobody can hear me. My helmet, and then of course I yelled, and he's one of my really good friends, so he cracked up.
Yeah.
But you know, just not one of my brighter moments. And then I look back and I'm like, you idiot. But the person we were running had only been like 550 round one. And just the magnitude of don't do anything stupid is,
Which is usually when you wind up tripping over yourself because it's
exactly,
like it's the
exactly.
over exaggerated that always burns you without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable. So, what are your upcoming races?
So we just went to No Problem. We have 3 weeks off, and if I could show you this desk at Accelerated Travel, thank God we do. And then we're skipping Pomona. Uh, they run alcohol there, but we're really going to try to do quality, not quantity this year. And so Vegas, and then the one race, and Chris had mentioned this, I'm so excited about. Jimmy Halsey is really stepping up big for the alcohol car, or for the nitro cars, and I really hope everyone supports them. And fan wise, and you know it's an awesome race at Cecil County. May 15th weekend. It's $15,000 to win. Usually we race for $15. So I mean, it pathetic. I went to a bracket race in um December, a 5-day bracket race, and for what it cost, and obviously the difficulty, it's all, but still, like, you're racing for $25,000 a day, and I'm like over the moon. And this year, FTD Customs is putting it on for $40,000 a year. So I mean, great race, but Jimmy's really stepped up for the alcohol cars, and I hope he gets a really good turnout.
Excellent. And then, with any kind of luck, you'll be competing for the championship on the West Coast at the end of the year.
That would be nice. That
Well,
would be nice.
we'll be rooting for you. That's for sure.
Thank you. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Tell us about the people that make it all happen for you.
Oh, we have some really good ones this year. I mean, everybody that we're partnered with, I really believe in, like, I mean, from the Knapp brothers that, from Englishtown Racing, where I grew
Yep.
up, Elite Performance, Insinger Fuels, NGK, Lucas Oil, VP, JE Pistons, everything that makes our car run, and that I really believe in.
Yep.
Think Equipment, Accelerated Travel, every you know and really, like I said before, everybody says this, but I have the best people behind me. um John lets Riley ride in the tow vehicle because I think it's the coolest thing. And like, when we lose, she's like, you want to go get ice cream, John boy?
Yeah, right.
Like, you know but from Sean, who you know started helping me at Accelerated Travel, because my workload was too much, and I was working till like 11 o'clock every night.
Yep.
John, Al, Evan back at the race shop, Red at the race shop. Evan left us and went to Think Equipment, from the race team. Amy, Taylor, Tori, that do all the social media stuff. Jeff and Ty on the West Coast. Jared, I mean, it really does. It takes an army, and it, an army at different times, and who can do what. Jeff Stricker's picked up, some of the races to drive to, and just my family. I mean, that's understanding that I don't talk to them for days on end because my head's stuck in a computer. I'm just really lucky. I mean, between the companies and the people behind me. And I really realized that, yeah, we've come close to the region, to the national championship 3 times. The journey to do this is really like, it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's just the cherry on top, but getting there makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Question for you. You mentioned some sponsors like Lucas Oil and NGK Plugs. If people need some of these supplies, could they reach out to you to get them, or could you send them in the
Yes, I'm
direction?
Nope, they can reach out to me and I'm happy to direct them in any way. Like I said, I really believe in the companies that support us.
Yep.
Elite has amazing motorhomes for sale. I'm happy to reach out a way because I'm proud to represent the companies.
Anywhere from a spark plug to a toter home to planning a vacation. Jackie Frick's Trailer is a one-stop shop.
Heavy equipment, bulldozers, we got it all.
Love it. Whatever you need. Good stuff. Well, Jackie, best of luck to you. And if you could do me a favor and tell the whole gang that I was asking for them, I got my phone already and Sean on speed dial for the congratulations text that I always send them. The whole group, just tell them that RNN was asking for him and we said hi. And we look forward to catching up to you this year at the track.
I forgot my biggest highlight of 2024.
Oh, let's have it.
What an idiot. You just said Sean winning the division championship with my husband. Well,
Well,
I
listen,
mean,
if we're going to be completely honest, I was going to have Chris reach out to him, and we figured we would start with you, but that we were going to get the champ on after the fact and see if he
awesome.
could join us.
Very cool. Well, I mean, that Sean knows that, how much that meant to me,
Yep.
and winning that with him and getting to share the stage with him. And that was pretty emotional. That was pretty cool.
Both Chris and I have said it before. I would have to think it's whenever you guys were on too, but family is kind of a big deal to us. And in my opinion, you guys are like the staple family of drag racing. So when you say like how much it meant to share that experience with Sean, there's no questioning how genuine that is and how excited all of you guys get for something like that. If it was up to me, I would love to see all of you guys win the championship all in the same year. I think it would be awesome. Except for the years that I'm running, then someone's going to have to take a back seat. But,
Taylor just wants to make sure Sean doesn't win Super Street this year because she says she's winning it. I
perfect.
mean, but it's a super cool dynamic. And when
Yeah.
they race, he'll be the first one to help her more than,
Oh,
he'll pay
without a doubt.
attention
Yeah,
to him. So
that's a given, without a doubt. So I actually think Sean would help anybody at the track. I
yes.
mean, there's been times where I've had my feet dangling out from underneath my cars, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah, it's like I said, we're big into the whole family thing, and you guys definitely, you're the poster child for that. So,
I'm just
uh,
lucky they let me to continue to be a part of it.
no doubt. Well, listen, best of luck to you. Tell the gang we said hi,
I
and
will.
hopefully soon enough we'll catch up to you and see you.
Thank you. Talk to
All
you
right.
Jackie,
soon.
before you
Oh,
head out,
yes.
um, couple of quick notes. One, Taylor said that Riley needs you.
I gotta go now. If Riley ever needs me. No, I'm kidding.
And also the all of those companies sponsored your entire family.
that's that's really, I mean, that means a lot to me because we all get to represent them, from Vincent to I just it like I get choked up obviously on the family aspect of it because it does mean everything to me. And without my family, you know, I'm sure Sean would have quit racing 10, 12 years ago, except for he wants to be with us all at the track. And I mean, everything from, we have pretty much every class covered. And it is super cool that all the companies that are behind us are behind our whole family.
And from my own personal experience, granted, this is going back 5, 6, 7 years now, when I brought all the kids from the YMCA, Jackie was the very first person to say to me, please bring your group to my trailer. So what that says to me is that this nice lady is an ambassador for the sport. And she took the time out of her day when she probably should have, could have been working on a race car or doing whatever it is Jackie does between rounds, and took the time to sign autographs for about 100 kids and just answer their questions, talk to them in general. And that's a memory that I carry these number of years later.
If the kids knew, they think that I'm doing something for them, they're doing something for me. That's the honest to God truth. Because I was that kid standing at the ropes when I was 7 years old. And, to me, that's the coolest part about getting to drive one of these cars. My guys will stop what they're doing and put them in the car and, to make these kids' eyes, like this big. And just people took the time for me like that when I was a kid at the racetrack. I want to do the same. And I love
Very
drag
cool.
racing. I love, just I do really enjoy talking about the sport and being an ambassador.
You wear
Awesome.
the crown well.
Thank you.
Yep. The king and queen of Division One. That's what we go with.
I'll be his queen any day.
All right, Jackie. Well, listen, thank you again for coming on and hanging out with us and taking the time out of your evening. I know you're really busy, but we truly appreciate it.
My pleasure. I can't wait
All
till
right.
Sean's on.
I'll
Fingers
be in
crossed.
touch. I have your phone number now.
Yep.
So,
I love it. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks.
all
You
right,
too.
you as
We'll
well,
see you.
Jackie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Jackie Frick, our guest for this evening, regional top alcohol champion for Division One in 2024, runner-up to the championship in 2024, and starting out this year with being one bad fast lady.
That was for sure. I don't know if all my miles an hour added up would equal 284. He's
Oh.
running.
So
Good
what's the
stuff.
good word, Pete?
Nothing exciting. I just launched a video today because I fell a little bit behind from being sick last week. Um, I got I don't know if any of our guests know more about YouTube. I'm sure actually they probably all know more about YouTube than I do, but I seem like my first video did good. And then after that, it's like blah. And I personally, and it could be biased, but I personally feel like I've gotten better at them, that the editing is better, that I'm more comfortable in front of the camera, but it's the numbers just aren't increasing the way I was hoping. So
I actually talked to Carly last week,
yeah,
who was our guest, about that because I was getting, as you know, I was getting frustrated with YouTube for the same reasons. And her dad told me because I stopped putting them up for I don't know a couple months, whatever it
yeah,
was. And her dad told me last year at Lebanon Valley, he's like, "Where's your videos? How come you're not putting them up?" And I told him why. I said, "I just don't see the point. I really don't." I said because we're kind of a niche thing that maybe people just aren't interested. And he's like, "I'm going to disagree with you because people like me, when we're at work, we watch that stuff." So it kind of kicked me in the pants to start posting them again. And then I talked to her last week when she was on, and she said essentially the same thing. She goes, "You just gotta be patient."
Yeah.
She's like, "It will come."
I mean, my only savings grace with the whole thing is the amount of fun that the students are having with the editing and videoing and contributing, that honestly, if it gets 2 views, who cares? It's worth it because they're having a great time.
The kids
Um
had a blast. Yeah.
yeah, oh, they're having an absolute ball. I would just, they check the numbers every day too, and I would just like to see it go up. Um, as exciting as it would be for me, it would be, super exciting for them too. But we'll just keep doing what we're doing and having fun. And if someone learns something, great. And if someone tells me I'm doing something wrong and I learned something, great. And the kids are having a good time, so life is good, right?
Maybe we should reach out to our contact at TBM and see if they would be interested in going in on something.
So you know that I bought the S10 to
Yes.
do the drag and drive.
Yes.
And obviously, at some point, I'm going to be needing a set of brakes for that vehicle. So I did a little thing with my last video on TBM,
Yeah.
but I'm so impressed with their stuff. Everything from packaging to fit and finish to install, that I would really love to go from open box to on the vehicle, and a video or two just dedicated to their stuff. The only issue is, honestly, they probably have 10,000 people that either have done it or willing to do it or whatever. I mean, the only niche that I have going for what may make it a little more attractive for us is the school and the kids. But when it comes time for me to spend the money on that, I will definitely reach out to them, not for a discount, but permission to do it. And maybe if they could help me with some exposure once it's done, that's what I would love. My dream for this whole thing would be for some of the manufacturers that supply our schools with equipment, for it to be big enough where they take notice and want to hook the schools up with some equipment. That would be everything that I would ever want to come out of it. I don't really care about how many people watch me personally. I don't care about trying to make money on YouTube. I mean, listen, if someone's going to send me a check for 20 grand, obviously I'm not going to say no to it. But at the end of the day, I would just love to expose the whole tech school system and maybe get some stuff for the system so that they could benefit.
Doing stuff like that is what it takes.
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it'll work out.
Yep.
I got some pretty
But
cool camera equipment though, I got to tell you.
but
I
you
just
said Mama bought you a GoPro.
Mama bought me a GoPro, and a friend of mine had a little bit older one that he never used. I bought that off of him. So those will be handy for like in car, outside a car where I'm racing. So I'm looking forward to doing that because I do want to get into the .90 stuff and the computer end of it, and like what it takes to make predictions and all that. I mean, I basically want to weld a camera to my forehead and just walk around and show, for people that don't really know. We know that, .90 racing, if you don't know what goes into it, just sitting in the stands watching it is like watching paint dry. And we've all talked to so many people that are like, yeah, we got to do videos and we got to do this, but no one ever seems to really do it. So I would love to be able to do it. I mean, I'm not in school during the summer, so it's not like we could do videos with the kids and stuff. So I would really like to get involved in the .90 end of it, just to give that some exposure and let people see what goes into it.
Right. And then you can tie the technology of your racing program
Yep.
into the technology of what goes on in your classroom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very similar to, as much as you dislike my road racing stuff, the technology involved in it,
Oh,
the
technology
3 or 4
is
videos.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
Oh,
ridiculous. And
it's mind numbing.
I'm not gonna say that's one of the reasons why I went EFI because it's not. But the fact that I did go EFI and how it ties in with modern technology and what we teach at school. We're not teaching carburetors at school, right? There hasn't been a car that rolled off the factory showroom floor with a carburetor in what, 40 years?
Yeah, since
So
the 80s.
yeah, give or take. So I'm trying to make it as relevant as I can to everyday stuff. I mean, we just got a fuel injection cleaner. I'm sorry, fuel injector cleaner, flow gauge, all that stuff. And I mean, this is all stuff that is relative to what they're doing. You put 4 injectors in the machine and you see 1 or 2 are lagging and looking at the spray patterns and stuff like that. Well, now, I mean, I could have an injector out of my car in 5 minutes. So my car is sitting there. Hey guys, you want to see, you want to compare it to a good one? This is what it looks like. This is a bad one, how it could look in a customer's car and why that cylinder, the plug might be dirtier. I mean, it's just relevance to a car sitting there with a carburetor on it and a power glide transmission. And how do you justify it or relate to it when you're trying to get students ready to leave you and go into a garage and work?
Right. Oh, absolutely. We could do some stuff this summer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it'll be good. And I will say, uh, luckily, my daughter spent some time with me over the weekend and got me a little more fluid in the editing software. So, this last video that I put up, I actually filmed it myself because I was at my shop on a Sunday, and I edited about 95% of it myself.
nice.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. We're getting, uh, we're getting a little more technical with the computer stuff.
Gotta love it. I
Yeah,
love having
yeah.
late teens, early 20s kids.
Gotta have it. Gotta
Yep.
have it. Pretty soon they'll be opening pill bottles for me too, because I won't be able to figure it out. So that's it, my friend. What's new in your world? Anything exciting?
Not a whole hell of a lot other than being bored out of my damn mind.
Yeah.
So I am filling up a lot of dates though
Nice.
on our calendar.
Very cool.
So
What do we got coming up?
of course you'd ask me that, and my calendar's out in the living room.
I know that we have Mr. Fitz, and I believe the date was April 8th.
April 8th. Yeah, I have him, uh, our buddy Billy from Maple Grove is going to be coming on the
Oh, very
29th.
cool.
That'll be all you because I'm going to be on vacation with Elijah that week. We're going to be in Virginia house
Okay.
hunting.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. Of course, I was thinking of that when I sat down in here, and I'm like, well, now I got all this crap in my way, and I can't go get it. So
Well, I'm sure the viewers don't mind a little bit of suspense, so it'll be fine.
no, it'd be good to keep them coming back.
No doubt.
So have you been following the IHRA stuff?
Debacle. I
Drama Llama
hate
Ding
and,
Dang?
and I hate seeing something start out like that because uh, you know how I feel about the whole street outlaws, no prep, blah blah blah. I love that stuff. And it looked like Jim Howe was going to do something with IHRA and Speed Promotions is doing something with what was known as MPK. Yeah, excuse me. And you I don't believe there's any such thing as too much. Right. So we went from something that you couldn't get enough of on the TV to all of a sudden Discovery took it off TV, and we suspected it had to do with a death and lawsuits and stuff like that. But whatever, that's all speculation on our end anyway. I'm sure someone knows why. But then you hear rumors of it coming back, and IHRA doing their own thing, and I don't think there could be such a thing as too much racing and too many options. So, with IHRA coming up, I mean, I don't think that NHRA would have anything to worry about as far as losing money, losing their business, anything like that. But racers getting another viable option and another playpen to play in is exciting, and to see it start out like it's started out is a little bit heartbreaking. Especially, there are people out there that are diehard IHRA, and when they went by the wayside, people were crushed. And I would imagine that, I mean, this would be the equivalent of them saying Englishtown is coming back. Right.
Right,
And then, oh,
right.
it's definitely coming back. It's coming back. And then, the owners of Englishtown saying, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It ain't coming
Yeah.
back. No one reached
Uh-huh,
out to
just
us.
kidding.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then all the local people in New Jersey and all the people that grew up at that track feeling like they just got their heart ripped out. Well, I would imagine that's what a lot of diehard IHRA people are feeling like right now, and not really knowing what's truth and what's not. And I feel bad for them, and I hope there's some clarity soon, and I hope that it's favorable for the racers.
Absolutely.
But it is a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. I open up the computer every day and I scroll through going, all right, what is
Yeah.
it today?
And then the people with the memes and the Gulf of IHRA, and
Oh,
it's
that was beautiful though. I saw that and I was like, I'll probably burn in hell for sharing
and
this, but
the
I had
people
to.
with the marked safe from being acquired
Being
by
purchased by, oh
people are so
God,
creative, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, or political, or whatever religion, or it's people are so creative and so friggin' funny that even if it's something that I'm rooting for and the meme is against it, if it makes me laugh, I don't give a shit. It's still funny is funny. I don't care what you say.
right, right. Um, so our buddy Jay Blake is
Yes.
going nitro racing.
Yes. Good for him.
Yeah, Phil Burkhart's going to be the pilot.
Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, Phil Burkhart has substituted in some of John Force's equipment.
Yes. Yes, I do remember that. Um, did he fill in for him at one time, or did he do testing for him? That I don't remember. You know who'll know? Our guest that we're
Billy.
gonna have in a couple of weeks, Billy.
Yep,
He'll know. But yeah, no, Phil Burkhart has definitely driven Force-owned vehicles, no doubt about it.
yeah. Phil, I've had the chance to meet Phil a bunch of times. He's a really cool dude too.
Yep. Yep, good stuff. That's great. I still would give anything to get Jay into our school to do one of his seminars, because he's such an inspirational person. Just haven't been able to make that happen yet, but boy, if I can, I definitely will.
Absolutely. He's a great guy too. I mean, when I was going through everything in December, he sent me some stuff and really just made me kind of go in awe of
Yep.
the fact that I know that guy.
Yes. Yeah. If you know him or you have anything to do with him, your world is definitely a better place. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So on the subject of more stuff on TV for drag racing, I don't know if you saw this, I shared this earlier. Netflix has announced an exciting new venture into the world of NHRA drag racing. set to release a full documentary series dedicated to the high speed adrenaline pumping motorsport.
I did read that. Any chance in the world that
It's,
that's not true?
I don't know. I mean, I
Because
did a
the
little
headline
research.
mentioned drag and drive, but the
Well, that was the
description,
confusing part, was that the picture that went with the article said drag and drive.
right. And
The
the
article
yeah.
says drag racing.
Right. Now, the reason why I'm asking you if it's legit or not is because when all the shows didn't get renewed, the Hot Rod Garage, all the stuff that they just said wasn't getting renewed,
Right.
there was a lot of bogus uh Facebook posts. If you want to see me on Netflix, give us this many likes or whatever, or Netflix is picking us up. So I was just wondering, in reading that and the description not matching the title, I was wondering if that was legit or not. But hey, I guess we'll find out soon enough, right?
Let's see. Let me just humor me for a minute.
Sure.
Drag and Netflix Drag and Drive documentary. As of now, there are no credible sources or official announcements from Netflix. So that could fall under the we purchased 47 racetracks thing.
Hey, listen, one of these days, the all the BS spread around has to be true sooner or later, right?
Hey, I read it on the internet. It's got to be true.
Gotta be true. That's what Benjamin
Absolutely.
Franklin said.
That's true. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln said, I love the theater.
That's right. Good stuff.
All right. So
Let's call it a week.
I think we should call it a week. And you're going on vacation in a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks. Yep.
So
Yep. Looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to, go ahead.
Something kind of cool. And I don't know how it will translate into people seeing it unless they're local to us. But tomorrow in our school is bring your parent to work day, which is
Cool.
basically we have sophomores and juniors in the shops, and they can bring their parents in, and we've got them for about an hour and 15 minutes, and we're going to do a lesson plan, and the students are going to teach the parents about the lesson plan that we picked,
Oh, awesome.
which I picked because my sophomores are starting with brakes, that we're going to do brake inspection, pad thickness, rotor diameter, and rotor runout. And
Nice.
our local news is going to be there to film it. And I'm one of the shops that the news is going to come in and interview. So what I'll do is if I get it and I get a link to it and blah blah blah, I'll post it on my wall, and I'll post it on the RNN wall, just so people that don't know what the inside of a tech school look like or what's going on, they could have the opportunity to check it out.
Awesome. That's very cool. Yes. Definitely hook me up with the link if and when you get it tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
yeah, without a doubt.
I will do my due diligence.
You the
Now
man.
I want to ask you a question. One,
Sure.
as a mechanic, a shop owner, and now an automotive teacher.
Okay.
There is somewhat concrete evidence that state of New Hampshire is going to do away with yearly motor vehicle inspections. Give me your perspective on that from all three of those points of view. And as a just a person and a parent.
So the business owner in me would hate it because I guarantee you that the work that comes into the shop, there's got to be a good percentage of it that my car failed inspection and I have to get this fixed. So I'm sure a lot of the local garages, dealerships, stuff like that, they're probably worried about it. But We are a state that does not have an inspection.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes, we do not have an inspection. So, as a state that does not have an inspection and having 5 kids on the road, some of the things that I see come into my shop that are neglected are scary to know that they're driving down the road with my kids on the road.
Right.
So, it's in one aspect, I can't even say it's good for the public because it saves them money, because it would be saving them money out of neglecting their vehicle. So is that really saving money?
Right.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, and I'm in a state that doesn't have one, and I'm not a fan of it. But
Right.
we are at the point we used to have. We never had yearly inspections. What we had was when someone bought a new vehicle over a certain age. God, it's been a long time, but I'm going to say if they bought a new vehicle over 5 years old or over 10 years old, when they register it, they had to go to DMV, get a temporary plate, put it on their car. They had 10 days to drive it down to motor vehicle to have them inspect it. And they actually had a garage where they would pull it in, they would drive it over skid plates that would measure the alignment quick, and then they would look for frame rot and floor rot and check the front ends, tire wear, check all the lights, parking brake, horn blows, wipers work, blah blah blah, and then send them on their way. And we did away with that. Now there's not even an inspection when you buy a vehicle. I could literally go up to
There you
Maine,
go.
buy a 4-wheel vehicle with only 2 wheels on it, and take the paperwork and go to motor vehicle and register it. I could literally register my Vega right now if I wanted to, because not only is there no inspection, but if you're 20 years or older, you don't have to go through emissions. So I could literally call up the insurance company right now, get an insurance policy on a 77 Vega wagon. I still have the VIN number for my car. And I could go down to motor vehicle and get a legit plate and put it on the back of my race car in the state of
Now,
Connecticut.
do you guys have the sniffer or do you do OBD?
Nope, it's all OBD2.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. We do have a sniffer for some vehicles, require it. But for the daily driven stuff, it's because OBD2 is 96 and newer,
Right.
and emissions only goes back 20 years. So we've fallen off of any cars that don't have OBD2.
Gotcha.
So everything's OBD2. And like I said, if you go, I think diesel or over 2,500, like over 10,000 GVW, 2,500 series or heavier.
Yeah.
Some require a sniffer, but 99% of it is OBD2.
Gotcha. Okay. I wasn't sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I know getting it inspected yearly is a huge pain in the ass for the owners of the vehicles, but it definitely keeps the road safer, and it definitely generates income for auto repair shops.
Right. So instead, and then for the consumer too, you roll in and you need $250 worth of brake work, let's say. And instead of a couple of more years down the road, you need $5,000 worth of brake work plus this, plus, 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 plus. All right. I was just curious.
It all works out. I mean, like, there's enough states now that are doing it where there is no inspection that I'm sure it's not going to be a mystery as to how it turns out. But
Right.
it's like I said, I've seen some pretty scary shit come through the doors at my shop. And it's like, if there was a yearly inspection, this wouldn't be happening. But
This tub wouldn't be on the road.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you.
You got it.
All right, everybody. again, Jackie Frick was our guest tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, checking us out live. We will be back next week, I'm pretty sure. I gotta check my schedule. And have a good evening and stay safe. And make sure you check out Bob Bender on Facebook.
Yeah,
He's doing his world tour. He's stuck on I-10 in Texas right now because of a dust storm.
in a sandstorm. Crazy, right?
Yep. So him and Linda Barrett. So
Unreal.
yeah, some crazy weather going on in the middle of the country.
Good times.
So all right, everybody, have a great night. Pete, good talking to you as always. And
Same here, my friend.
we'll see you all soon. Have
See
a
you
good
soon.
night. See ya.